and say hello to everybody. And I've changed my name, so I am now Inarra Aryane Griffyn. But Inara is the one I want to be using from now on. I changed it at the winter solstice. Some of you know that, some of you don't. Oh, I see Monty in. You're here, aren't you? Hey, Monty, Alora. I love it.
Yeah, it's the first one I've been able to make in a long time because I'm not working right now.
Amazing. And I was suddenly lost the thread of where you are again. Remind me.
I'm in Guatemala, Lake Atitlan, and I'm at my friend's place. I've got the shade, so the view is not as clear as it would because it's just, yeah, the sun is beating down right now. It's hot, but yeah,
Wow.
kind of awesome.
Wow. And I'd love to hear where other people are as well. So you can put it in the chat or you can unmute. And I just want to see if there's other people hiding from you. Laura, lovely to see you.
Hi,
Hey,
happy to see you. I'm local. I'm down the road from you
you're
in
South
sunny
Sac.
Kent.
Yeah, in Kent. Oh my God. And let's just see other people. I'm just changing the view. The strange thing was when I recorded the last thing, Monty, just so you know, I recorded it on speaker view and it didn't record on speaker view at all. So there's something in my settings that keeps me in the people. But as I see it, I see Nina, Jimena, Laura, Diana, David. Amazing to see you. I haven't seen you in ages. Jessica, Dana, and Adea, who is beneath me in a different flat. And she changed her name too. So it's a good reminder that my friend of many years is now called Adea Whitehorse Terra. We went through a similar initiation experience on the winter solstice to change the sound of our names for the Aquarian age. But I was telling some of you, let's see, Guillaume. Guillaume. I always try and get that name. So you're here. So we've got Alora from Northern California, Dana from wet, cold Wales. So it's actually sunny today in London, which is nice. Jessica, you're in Scotland. Sylvia's in Austria, Sweden. We've got, now I hope I say your name right, Grinnet. Yeah, so we've got people from around the world, which is amazing on this last session of the year of 13 full moons, which is an unusual year. And boy, has it been an unusual year. You know, we basically, when we started out this year, I'm sure all of you felt you were doing something else than has happened this year. Consensus, And you know, I think in London they're talking about lockdown. Well, we're in lockdown 3, but I think they're calling it now tier 5 because they just add on all of these different distinctions on what's going on. And so when I heard tier 5, for whatever reason, after really experiencing a very good year, pretty good year, business has been amazing, just meeting all people from all over the world. But tier 5 was just the one that released my emotions to the wind. I just hit a total blockade with tier 5 and incredibly emotional time for the last, like my eyes still look really like teary. I've had 24 hours of nonstop crying, still feel really emotional. And it's, you know, this is the moon in Cancer. And because we've had this accumulation of all of this, like I'm sure some of you have done really well at different times, and then you've done really poorly at different times. There's been this wave. Well, I've been really cool for a long time, really fine. And then this was the one, and this is, you know, moon in Cancer, full moon, and the whole focus of it is your emotions. Like we are an emotional body being. That's why we're on planet Earth. It's to feel your emotions. And if you don't feel your emotions, you are not living a full life. You're living a half life. And the emotions are part of I wrote about it in a post today, which is this: we're meant to feel the emotions so that we can navigate life and understand where we're supposed to be going and where we're not supposed to be going. So it's a primary indicator. It's not meant to be your brain. It's meant to be your heart feeling its way into, ooh, is this a good situation? Or, ooh, is this not a good situation? And many of us stay in awful situations because we manage to block out all the emotions. That's a very British thing. You know, it says stiff upper lip, stay stiff, and don't feel it. It's why the Brits are very good at things like keep calm and carry on. You know, they've got all of that going on as well, which is very British, and they've made posters of that this year. Keep calm and carry on. I think it was actually from the Second World War, and then they've just reintroduced it now with COVID. But really, if you can't feel your emotions, which is this Aquarian age wisdom, then you're going to be missing out on the big piece of the seventh sense. The seventh sense, not the sixth sense. We're in the era now of the seventh senses. And the seventh sense is to know, here. You know, if you're a woman, you can stick your hand on your womb. It's like to know. And if you feel this knowingness, then we are also in the era of the false prophets, which I've talked about before. Not in the biblical sense, but for you to understand that it's been used in the biblical sense before, like the era of the false prophets. But when you get into the real meaning behind it, we're in the era of the seventh sense allows you to know. And so you'll see all forms of leadership happening. We're seeing this all over the globe right now. And then some of them will look like leaders should. They'll have all the trappings of leadership. They'll have the military behind them. They'll have all of that stuff. And you'll know here that they are not the leaders. And then others will not look like leaders. They'll look very ordinary. The outward appearance could be very deceptive about what is going on there. And you'll know right here that they are the true leaders. You'll know that they're speaking the truth. You'll know that the essence of what they're putting out there into the world has got all of this new age frequency. We'll be understanding things now through frequency. And there's a whole piece of it, which is now frequency medicine. Medicine, which is all about shifting frequency. And if there's one thing that Kaipacha was talking about on an event that I was part of at the winter solstice, and he put up this slide, which was so interesting, about COVID being the frequency of, let's say, 5.5, however they measure it, megahertz, and that COVID can be eradicated in anything that's about 25. So anything that's over this, we'll just get rid of this. It won't even feel like an anything. Those are the people who test positive. Those are the people who have never felt anything with COVID. It just comes and goes. And to remind you again of what we're looking at in scientific terms, we're looking at about 0.7%, not even 1% of the global population who will be impacted by this. And then 99% who will probably unlikely to experience it in any way of depth, we're living our lives due to the 0.7%. And it's because the leaders right now are getting us to try and control something that they're completely out of control with. And this will be represented through so many different things. You'll see the financial situation as the finance markets fall apart. The old leadership will try and regroup us and get us to control it. and it's uncontrollable. You know, the spiral is spinning. This is the old order going down. It's the end of patriarchy. And so when you think about frequency medicine, which is a big medicine of the future, things like fresh air, good medicine, is fresh air, good food, good company, good thoughts. All of those raise your frequency above and beyond COVID. And that's like a really practical thing that you can think about. So what is a not great frequency place? The tubes or the subways, as you call it in America. So the tubes are a not good frequency area. They've got a low frequency vibration, and hospitals have a low frequency vibration. Then you look at, so this is, you understand the difference that we're looking at. We're no longer looking at things that are good for us that just encompass a food, an activity. It also encompasses emotions. So very low grade emotions are guilt, shame, anger, jealousy, envy. All of those are so low frequency that something like COVID you could get because of those low frequency emotions. I mean, that is Aquarian age thinking. But if you keep high frequency, and that is gratitude, sharing good company, and that means that we're going back into that space of, if we're looking at the era of the false prophets where we know, then you'll know what is not good company. Right? And it's all connected. It's all completely connected. So, Guillaume, you're talking about the vaccine, which is a very common topic right now. Just like voodoo, just like the idea that we could be cursed in the old ways, you know, in ancient times, back in old patriarchal times, then there were all these ideas that you could be cursed for something, or you could have the evil eye, or you could have black magic and all of that. The idea behind all of those is it's a negative low-grade frequency that would make you experience your life like you're out of control, like you don't really have control. And so that's how the idea of voodoo works. Because it works on somebody who already believes that something could hurt them, harm them. A frequency could harm you, even though you have nothing to do with it. And the same is true of the vaccine. The vaccine, if you believe that it is going to help you, if you believe that it's going to be an okay, neutral experience, it will be. And there's a frequency aspect to all of this, that the more that you feel that you're out of control, the more low grade frequency you are. The more that you feel that you have an empowerment, shall we say, rather than power, that you feel empowerment by uplift, by positive people, by positive experiences, then you're going to be fine no matter what. Some people, because they feel like they need the vaccine, that's going to increase their frequency. So it's going to be an okay thing for them, right? And the more that you give your power away, this can be the edge of, you know, conspiracy theory, where you can go down the toilet with it, because it can be so low grade and it's energetic, even though it's trying to tell you something that would help. It can also be so low grade, like, you know, you have no control. It's all the grays. You have no control. It's, you know, it's these sinister governments who are coming to get you. You have no control. It's the vaccine. It's going to get you. They're going to implant you. We're going to, you know, all of this. That thought is worse than the thing itself. We need to get away from these thoughts that something out there can get us. Like, you know, I grew up in the era of Jaws, the movie. And it was insane, the fear that we kids used to even have jumping into a swimming pool, because somebody would just do that soundtrack, dun 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 dun, and then they used to do this at you, and we'd be like, ah, you know, Jaws is going to get you. And it's the same thing. It's like vaccine, dun dun dun, like, you know, and then it's like we're going to be locked down, dun dun dun, and you can get into this crazy space where you really need to see this is the false prophets. You will know what will be good for you. You will know what is good company. And if you have those little inklings of, like, you can really ask yourself this night, am I in the right relationship? You know, am I in the right home for me? Am I walking the right path for myself? Am I expressing myself to the world in a powerful way? All of those questions, especially on Moon and Cancer, when we've had a year like this, which has been like putting us into a compression chamber and then giving us the Jaws soundtrack going on the outside, you can send yourself freaking crazy with this stuff, right? Or you can just start to ask some of the deeper questions, which are, here's one that I asked myself. My father, who is not very well, who lives in Canada. Canada is one of the restricted borders, most restrictive in the world. So do I go into hyper paranoia about the vaccine, or do I get the vaccine and fly and see my dad? Which is the higher frequency thought? Well, for me, it's to see my father, right? And so no vaccine is going to bring me down. It's not going to be the thing that if I didn't need to see my dad, it wouldn't be an issue. I would not be taking the vaccine right now, right? But if that's the priority, which it is, to see my father, then I will take the vaccine and it will not harm me like that, because I'm free will. We are free will. We are moving through these things at free will. If you take it like love, like everything is love, walk the path of love, then you will experience the health of love. Love will hit you right between the heart. And it's much stronger than anything else, than the Jaws soundtrack. So let me just look. I'd love to speak to some of you today as well. So I just want to look back at this thing, because I think, you know, the vaccine is the one that's really sending people crazy right now. And you need to think of it like the language around it is like voodoo. If you believe in love, this vaccine cannot harm you. Literally, unless you need a journey of something in you to go down a really negative path on that. But I want to have a look at some of your comments. So I agree, Dana, we are here to support each other. And thank you for sending me love. You're right, Guillaume, it was Churchill. Keep calm and carry on. Diana, you've got emotions have deepened like never before this year. Yeah, grief, joy, love, despair, all heightened and deepened. And it's such an intense and deep and beautiful and hard time. Yeah, exactly. Dana says that Gandhi did not look grandiose, but what leaders they've been to humanity. Exactly. And this is the emerging time of all of those kind of leaders. They will not look like what leaders that we've been trained to believe leaders look like. Look at the one that's leaving the American presidency. Just let that one sink in. I wonder how he's going to leave, like crawling out on his hands and knees, because this is somebody who cannot receive the end of a power cycle. Like it's time. You know, if I was his mother, it would be, it's time. You need to like move on. But instead, they're clinging to it, and the only reason, and that it is like a comedy. It's like a black comedy. The only way I could have lost is if the entire election was rigged. I mean, that the absurdity of that kind of languaging that we're getting right now of in that kind of leadership thing. And then you've got people who will be like Gandhi, who won't be like Gandhi because it's not his era, but they will be like our people, and we'll see indigenous leaders rise to the top, and you'll hear their languaging, and it will just strike a chord in your heart, and you'll feel the healing like immediately. So, Danny is saying, what if you know that control is only illusion and you're willing to surrender with faith? Well, that's what I'm talking about. It's, I've mentioned this before, that the scientist, who I always forget his name, who's sort of a metaphysical, spiritual scientist who influenced water with love, the word love only. And then wrote many words under glasses of water, and then you see how the particles and the molecules separate and form. And under love, it's completely uniform. It's like a beautiful snowflake. But when he wrote other words like chaos, hate, there are all these zigzaggy, crazy kind of patterns. And so then you can know, like right in the heart, that if you are walking with love, if you're experiencing love, if you can even hear the harsher version of love, because sometimes love comes in a way that's like it's a strong stand for you to get off your shit. It's a strong medicine, if you like. It's like, I'm not going to listen to this anymore. And I've just been dealing with a very dear friend of mine who has cancer. And at the worst of that, who is through the 3 months treatment now, but at the worst of it, was on his knees, crying, weeping, making horrible noises with phlegm because it was in his throat and all of this, and saying, I don't know if I've made it. I don't know if I've made it. I don't know. Like that level of it. And I would be like, oi, stop that. You've made it. You've made it right here. And some of those times when we need to be like that with each other is more loving than the, oh, baby, I did a bit of that too. But, when he was losing it, it was, you're on a warrior path. This bit is going to feel disgusting. It is. The treatment is harsh. It's harsh medicine, but you're going to make it. And now he's thanking me for those moments, not the, oh, I did a lot of that. But, sometimes we need people to say to us, like, get a grip. What are you doing with your life? Why are you in that shitty relationship with that person? They don't give you anything. Why are you lowering your standards to, operate at whatever level you're operating? And so love can be a sweet tonic and a sweet thing. And it can also be a fierce call to action. And it's got all of the things in between as well. All of those resonances. So if we now know that sometimes somebody, when I've been dealing with the vaccination conversation, because people in my world are favor the alternative medicine, and only the alternative medicine. And you can have this standoff with, I am so righteous because I douse myself in oils and I think pure thoughts. And then I do a little bit of homeopathy here and there. And I swim with dolphins. And I surround myself with pink galactic light. And I only, whatever, all of that. And then anything to do with Western medicine is bad. And it's like, no, this is just a ridiculous path of like them and us, them and us, them and us that we can be on, even in this highly articulated level of, yes, I prefer right now to not take the vaccine. However, if I surround myself with love and take the vaccine, guess what? I'm going to be okay. I actually think that Western medicine is great. It's done wonders for people who were dying of all sorts of septicemia and tetanus and, polio and malaria and all of this. So to just be blindly anti it because, the Greys are going to get you and they're going to manipulate you into something. Freedom is right here. It's right in the heart. And the real essence of where we're going to right now with these big questions, they seem like big questions. Donald Trump seemed like a big question. I promise you, he will occupy about this much of a history book eventually. Like, it'll just be a little paragraph. It's no big deal. Same with Brexit. We spent the whole of 2 years prior to this, and then, people shut up about it for COVID because then they were obsessed with COVID. Now we've had a little bit of mention of Brexit because we've finally done it. But it will be like this snippet in a history book. I was a history scholar. This is like the kingdom. An entire kingdom is like this long. Then there's another one this long. And we string these histories together that we think are so terribly important. The focus right now needs to be right inward. Like, where are you shining your light? And what is the focus? Oh yeah, this one, sorry, Ina. The vaccine separates our soul from our higher selves. I mean, oh my frickin' God. The soul is ever present in all forms, energetically forever and ever and ever in any incarnation that you could imagine. And you think of vaccine. I've heard this too. It was absurd. And I recently saw a channeled being who, I think Monty knows, Zach, talking about that very thing that somebody had started going on about. People are not taking the vaccine because it separates their souls. It's an absurdity. Your soul is way bigger than a vaccine. Your soul is bigger than anything. It came into this, it's bigger than your body. It's bigger than your life. The short life that we will live right now, that we think is so terribly important. From the perspective of the in-between lives that we will have at some point, this is a snippet. It's a paragraph in our history of what we're having. And the focus right now needs to be love. It needs to be straight back in. So going back to just a few more comments before we move into this, and our soul is bigger than 5G. Yep, exactly. 6G. It's bigger than radio waves. And Alora says, you agree with Donald being dragged out, escorted. Yeah, or forced to just remove himself in the most embarrassing way. Like, poor loser. So leadership and love are really the big topics of what will come out of this era. What we'll see is a complete redefinition of leadership. And leadership will be, if all things are equal, which is what the Aquarian age is all about, if all things are equal, that means every person, every color, indigenous, high-powered, Silicon Valley dude, all of them equal, all of them, gay, straight, trans, in-betweeners, animals, plants, rocks. If everything is equal, then how do power structures re-emerge in that? And the idea is, if we're all standing in a circle, including the rocks and the plants and the animals and us, and we're all equal, and so the environment is as important as us. People are as important as animals. And that's the era that we're looking at. The influence that comes through will be how you are able to influence the group from your single standing position. Well, influence is a very big thing. If you're looking at an invitation and you're looking at collaboration in a space, then all you have to do is smile across that space and you've already influenced. All you have to do is invite and you've already influenced. You gather and you've influenced. You suggest, you've influenced. But it's a different power structure than a few white men standing on the top of a mountain and in their fantastic villa making all the plans of the universe. That's the old structure that's gone. And the rest of us are bringing them down and saying, you're in the circle too. Hideous though it is, Donald Trump is in our circle. You know, that one is really hard for me to deal with at times, but he has to be part of our circle too. And then we neutralize his influence, because in that many topics, people, animals, environment, he is of no consequence. And the real leaders will be smiling, inviting, gathering, and there will be all sorts of things going on behind the scenes that you can't even imagine. There's high frequency, we're stepping into the high frequency digital freeway now, and solutions are going to be like blinding lights coming out of nowhere. You know, so all the things that we have many, many concerns about, for instance, like one of my big ones is plastic, because I literally saw the rise of plastic when I was traveling in India. So I had a very visceral experience of it. Like from one year there was none to the next year there was a lot. And all those Indian foods that were served on leaves, banana leaves, that would just be dissolving into the earth and all of that, started to be changed by plastic. So I saw it as a horror. And plastic is also great. It's like hip replacements. It's parts, it's got things, it's got uses, it lasts. So again, it's us or them, us or them. We go into these schizophrenic ways of hating one thing, loving another thing. And instead, what I realized is plastic will be, because I can think of it as a solution, because I can send it out there like there will be a solution for plastic without knowing the solution myself. I will send out the frequency that there will be a solution for plastic, and it will happen. And it will happen with whoever is the responder to the frequency of they can solve the plastic problem, if you know what I mean. We are all here to influence. So as I pick up the influences that I'm supposed to respond to, and you pick up the influences that you're supposed to respond to, then everybody will get theirs. And all solutions will happen very, very quickly in this era of Aquarius, like blinding light, you know? Yes, it will. And so I chose the name, my name means shining light, because I feel that I am meant to influence on the level of New Earth leadership. So I've put myself out there, I speak the language of it so that those who need to know about it recognize it and speak back to me. And we are able to accelerate it very fast. Maybe that's not your thing, right? Although you are all here. So I imagine it is your thing. But the people that the solutions that you personally want, you project them in your meditations and your manifestations as creating the world that you want to live in. And this is a very powerful medicine, frequency medicine, because what you're doing is you don't have to have the answer to any of it. You just have to have the space that you're creating, that there needs to be solution. The invitation, if you like, on the high digital freeway, intergalactic, you know, because Aquarius is not an air sign. It's an intergalactic sign. It's out of this world, solutions like that. So the more that you focus on it, and whatever your personal thing is, some of you might have a very personal one. My plastic thing was a big one. So I just invite the solution. And it's like an invitation to the planetary, you know, agreement that's going to happen, that with everything that happens, there is always a solution. So there are people already I know being born who will resolve that issue right now without knowing what the personal issue is that I have to deal with. I don't know how to resolve plastic. I just know it needs to be dealt with. So I invite it in. And you could think about all the things that are important to you. And you could be the spokespeople for all of those things, like some for the environment, some for trans, some for, gay rights, some for black rights, some for indigenous rights, some for water rights, all of that. You become the container for drawing in solution by saying, I'm here, I'm asking, I am drawing in solution. So I think that would be an appropriate time to start our meditation. So anybody who needs to go for a pee, so it's a good time to whiz out now, so you can really relax, turn your phones off, right off. Allow yourself to really settle. And then allow yourself to get very comfortable and sit back in your chair, softening your body. And take a deep breath in and exhale. And another one of those. Deep breath in and exhale through your mouth. And another one of those. Deep breath in and exhale. And then as you start to breathe, breathe into every cell in your body, drawing in this energy of the 13th moon into every cell of your body. And as you breathe out and create space. And as you breathe in, you're breathing in this soft, sweet energy of Cancer. The sign of Cancer is all to do with the home and family and nourishment, gentleness, the mother, breathing it in. And as you breathe out anything that is harsh, has sharp edges, is grating, has doubt, has fear associated with it. Breathe it out like black smoke. And breathing in this soft, sweet, motherly love connection into every cell in your body. And breathing out anything which has jealousy, shame, fear. And breathing in again, breathing in soft, sweet, like a nectar of deliciousness, filling in every space of every cell in your body, bringing the calm of the mother, and breathing out anything which no longer serves you. And if you do a body scan, allow yourself to experience what are the highest frequency parts of your body, and where are the ones which are lower frequency. And breathe in the higher frequency like shining, gleaming light into every single space that is not operating on the highest frequency. And as you breathe out, letting anything go that no longer serves you. And breathing in now, breathing in this fresh, vibrant, the 13th moon. The 13th, which represents so much feminine, great mother, high priestess, Christ consciousness, experience, the all forgiving, the all loving. And breathing out anything that no longer serves you, breathe it out. And as you experience yourself rising out of your chair, feeling this essence of higher vibrational light body, experiencing it starting to rise up, shimmering like a shimmering light, almost like that effervescence light formation, moving upwards through the channel of the third eye and then going through the crown chakra. And we allow our light body to go wandering. And this truly is the essence of freedom. So we let our light body, sometimes it wanders around at night, sometimes it wanders through time. But right now we're going to ask it to gather high, high above in a galaxy where we experience the crystal star formation, which is like a stone circle of the highest frequencies crystals. A huge stone circle, which is in a different galaxy. And our light body has ease of traveling there. Your light body can assume your own form, or it can be just pure light. But you arrive into this gathering, this circle. You've been invited. And this is the invitation of all the energies that you've gathered over the 13 moons to participate in the final ceremony of the year. At each station of this massive stone circle, you notice that each crystal, which is as big as a Stonehenge-style plinth, has different frequencies and slightly different colors. And you are invited to go and stand or hover near the one that really works for you, that is the frequency or the light facet that calls you in. And it calls you in because you're drinking a frequency that you need right now as a light body. All the effort, I want you to experience effort just drizzling down through your feet. The idea of effort doesn't exist. We're letting it go now. And as you move into this space where you are now aligned with the exact crystal frequency that you need at this time, you can feel the very pores of you and all the spaciousness in between the light, filling up with this frequency that you could feel almost like an elixir as it moves between the very cells of you, bringing in this feeling of strength and solidity. And then anything which is involved with effort, again, just drain it out of your feet. Just feel the effort to look good, the effort to stand up, the effort to be heard, the effort to be noticed, the effort to do something, just draining out. And you feel yourself more buoyant with these crystalline formations which are filling in all the spaces in between your cellular body, almost like fascia of the human body. This is fascia of the light body. It interweaves in every space, bringing a harmonic of both sound and frequency. And you may even hear the sound of this fascia like a drone or a soft song as it fills in all the spaces which have been held up by effort. And taking a deep breath into this light body, feel how the harmonics start to move with your true essence, And as you look out into this vast crystal circle, you see a huge body of people, of light forms, of energy, of beings, of animal frequencies, and of the environment. So you may see energy forms which occur as a desert or occur as a mountain, all gathered with the same energy as you have gathered as a light body person. So you could meet a mountain, you could meet a desert, you could meet an ocean. They've all arrived here, and they are all leaders, because this is the new formation in a circle, in a new space where you have influence by frequency. And so we will allow the earth environment to speak to us. So the first influencer we will have is the ocean. And you see the ocean as part of our circle. And the ocean allows us to feel the waves, to feel time itself, which is the rhythm of the waves. And you feel the ocean lapping in and pulling out. So your light body may even start to move as you're feeling the ocean allowing you to experience her. And the ocean comes to us to allow us to experience what water is. And we feel this movement of our light body moving this way and that. And the ocean tells us that she's bringing us the gift of deep cleansing. And you see yourself by an ocean, and you experience high waves coming in, rolling in. You feel what it's like for your legs to be in those waves as the pull of the ocean pulls out, and it's a strong current. And then rolling back in, washing over you. So bring to mind anything which is of a lower frequency right now. So allow yourself to feel what may have been a frustration. What is something which you feel frustrated with? And then the ocean allows herself to wash over you, gathering that frustration. And as the wave pulls back, pulls it right out of your light body. And then we go to a deeper form of fear, which might be shame. So allow yourself to experience shame in light body, and the ocean sends another rolling wave at you. And as it washes over you, and then it pulls away from you, you feel all those particles of shame leaving you. And then the ocean allows us to experience what is a lower grade sacred union. So imagine all those relationships you had which were really not at the right frequency for you, but have left traces in your light body. The ocean sends a big rolling wave towards you, and you feel it wash all over you. And then you feel as it rolls out, it pulls out the threads of all those old ways of being when you felt more like a doormat or you weren't working to your highest level. And then we feel the energy of mountain. Mountain has come to influence us. We experience mountain in this circle. Mountain is super strong and solid energy frequency. So feel within your light body anything which is not super strong and solid. It may be something in the way that you feel you're not good enough. Or it may be a level of lacking confidence, or something which you just don't feel you love about yourself. So mountain, which is by essence, always has been here, always has been exactly what it is, always has been earth for us to look at, walk on, climb up. Mountain sends you this solid frequency of, I've always been here. Continuum, earth, solid. And you experience the frequency of no doubt, no fluctuation. Take a deep breath in and exhale. And experience trees on mountain, these ancient beings, as if you were on a mountain. At the top of a mountain, there is a wildly beautiful tree. And you go and stand beneath this tree, and then you lean on it. You lean on the tree people, and you can feel in your light body sap moving up. And this is a different form of earth, also ancient, but moving. This is life force. And you could give your tiredness away here. You just feel that rippling of the sap moving up through your light body. And looking back into the circle, you see wolf spirit. And you see the wolf doing what it does best, howling. How it naturally howls at the full moon. And you feel wolf spirit inhabiting your light body. And you feel that sense of, if you could just howl at the moon, howl all those feelings, just howl. So imagine yourself howling. Feel the essence of wolf pack running in team, running together. And then howling at the moon in a pack, baying at the moon. Feel this wild spirit within you. This crazy wild spirit. And feel your light body responding to elation and freedom and maverick energy. And looking back into the circle, feel the energy of a being that you would like to be influenced by. So you look back into your circle and experience great leadership because you experience it as it inhabits you. So choose a being. It could have been a king, a queen, a spiritual leader, healer, medicine person, animal spirit, environmental spirit. And whatever it is that you feel you need to learn from or be influenced by, allow it to now inhabit you by invitation. So you look across this circle and you spot it and you invite. You smile. And with that tiny little gesture of humanness, you feel the rush of that being inhabiting. Allow yourself to feel what it's like to invite in those energies. And breathe it into every cell of your body, leaving no part out. And as you experience this, you start to experience unity consciousness. That unity consciousness does not mean all is the same. It means that you are able to choose and invite the experience in and take direct teaching as the leader that you are, to experience leadership from all forms. Feel this great love of what the essence of unity consciousness allows. All perspectives are up for the taking. All perspectives are healers. And take what you need, feel what you need, what is teaching you now. Feel the effect on every cell in your body as you breathe through the teacher teaching. Feel the strengthening of the inner core. Feel the essence of your frequency. So with the effect of this shape-shifting connection to the whole of the planet and beyond. Now ask yourself, what scent are you? Ask yourself, what color are you? ask, what weather system are you? And as you look up out of the circle into this sky, you see 13 moons, 13 full moons. And as you connect directly above, you feel your frequency increasing, as if it's accelerating you now. This wonderfully strange place with 13 moons, this magical place. You feel you are ready. And so allowing yourself to see the image of 13 full moons in the sky above you, start to rub your hands together, bringing heat back into the palms. And then placing your palms over your closed eyes. See that place again, 13 moons. Breathe in and exhale. And again, rub your hands, keep your eyes shut. Rub, 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 rub. Place your palms over your closed eyes. Breathe in and exhale. And one more of those. Rub, 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 rub. Place your palms. Breathe in and exhale. And then rubbing your forehead, back of the neck, throat, temples, jaw. Wiggle your jaw. And when you're ready, come back into the space. So just bringing yourself back in. So I would love to hear from some of you, because this is our last gathering. Anybody who wants to tell me what weather system you were? Just go for it. Oh, Monty was a storm.
I too am a storm, and I thought into it, and it's a storm of love and hope that is more of a gentle gully washer.
Nice. Do you feel stronger?
Absolutely. More clarified, and I really appreciate the correlation of the intention and thought that we said earlier about how the higher vibration and higher frequency thought and embodiment will supersede any of the low vibration thoughts and worries about the activities or happenings here on the planet that we might engage. I really felt that I felt the truth of that. And then during the meditation, it just embodied in me that that is the ability that we all have to separate it. We can either encounter it in the low vibe or encounter it in the high vibe. And if we encounter it in the high vibe, it won't do that low vibe thing.
Right on.
And so that's kind of the storm that I feel an impetus to push out from my vantage point.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh, pleasure. It's so nice to see you as well on this special day. Yes, Jessica's saying you're a hot desert sun and the cold night where it sets. Fabulous. Intensity and relief. Sun, heat, warmth from Laura. Adrian, pouring rain, frankincense and indigo. This was amazing. So much. Crazy to have the ocean wash away fear from my light body. Aww. Thank you. Yes, I'm not called to do them next year. I've asked strongly. Adrian, just so you know, I've asked strongly. Every year, you know, and this is one of the things, like, it's a really interesting thing, this, in my life. I build up all these things that I think are a peak, that are going to be it, and they never are. It's always like, grab it while you can, this is it. And that's what I have learned about them, because a long time ago, I realized I had a very powerful dream. This was years and years and years ago. My grandmother, who was like my mother, was dying, really. And I was in Kashmir. And I encountered this very sort of scary episode with seeing what happens with Kashmir, which was military run at that time. God knows how I ended up there. It was a real journey. But anyway, and so to get out of Kashmir, I had to drive in a taxi around these roads where there was just like sometimes no roads, you know, like cliffs and falling rocks and all of that. It was like, you know, one of those adventure moments. It was freaking terrifying. And we had somebody in the car who was called a militant. And the militant and I got along very well. He was this exotic Kashmiri, you know, like wild soul who we had deep connection. And the only reason he escaped was because he was with Western women, these two Western women. I was one of them. And so with all this fluctuation of this wild, scary exit out with the, you know, the things falling off the side, I felt like my life was very much in danger at that moment. And wherever we stopped, I had this incredible dream. And it was like a dream of like what you're here to do kind of thing. And I met my grandmother. I had to walk up these stairs. My mother was at the bottom of the stairs and she said, "Your grandmother is waiting for you," who was my real mother. And I walked up and she was at the end of a long table, like imagine one of those banquet tables, and she's way at the end and I sit down at this end and suddenly it goes vroom, and my grandmother was like right here. And she said, "I'm leaving, but it will be a blink of an eye that I see you again." And she said, "I want you to remember what you're here for." And she said, "Tell me." And I said, "I'm here to experience the most change in one lifetime that I can. Like the most transformation." And she said, "That's correct." And with that, she left. And so I thought she died, actually, when I was in such a state of all these emergency measures and everything. I was trying to phone her. This was pre, you know, mobile phones and all of that. And I finally was able to phone her and just found out in the nursing home, no, she was still there. She was there for another 6 months. And this was like an out-of-body life experience that I have had a few of, but it was a really powerful one because it was getting me to see who I am. Like, what am I really here for? And so there is always transformation. There could never be a sort of resting point in a way. And some of these spiritual teachings are here right now because they're really important. And I didn't know that this year was going to be this year when I said I must do these 13 moons. I feel guided very much to do it. I also didn't know that when I got this very strong guidance a year ago in November that I must stop coaching, because some of you I've coached. And that was also like a bit like, oh my God, like I thought I would be doing that forever. Well, a long time, you know? And then it was just like, no, you know, get this universal big shift through. And it was like, no, you really have to step out of that now and you have to do this other stuff. So the thing that I'm doing right now is I'm working with New Earth leadership and I'm helping them emerge. And so I'm taking much more of a background position in that. And the things that I love about this sort of fantastic journey that we've been on is it just feels like it could go on and on. But like a great show or a film, it's not going to. This is the end. And we really get to experience like it's a completion rather than it being a loss or a sadness or whatever. If you got here for some of these, you were meant to. You know, some people will see them maybe in future and they weren't in the year of 13 moons. They get to experience them afterwards. But those who even got some of them, I feel that this was really very direct teaching, very direct help that's been sent through at times when we've been a bit wobbly. It's been a bit of a wobbly year. It's been important. And I don't see that this is the main thing that I'm meant to do next year at all. I have really asked. There are a few things that I'm meant to step out of. I'm stepping out, and just focusing entirely on New Earth leadership. If that is something I can help you with, contact me, because it really is like, I've said it's the New Earth Visionaries, which is the name of the new company that I've got. It's evolving and emerging as I kind of speak to people. You know, what's needed? How are we doing this? How are we doing this? I get you felt it, the power structure you would have felt today, because I think that was what the teaching was. It was a sort of different power structure today of how we work with guidance from all sorts of angles, nobody on top for the first time in the whole of this last 6,500 years, which has been the patriarchy. It's always been somebody on top, always. This has been different. This is, you can feel the way structures are shifting and changing, that if you want to learn something, you invite it in. What's the invitation? It's a smile. You know, I wrote recently this piece about that one of what yogi superpowers is friendliness. And this was written in, it's either the sutras or the Bhagavad Gita. So it's ancient. And it's really like, what are the yogi superpowers? It's one of the top powers is friendliness. And it's very hard to imagine in a world where friendliness was not rewarded for a very long time. But you feel the power of it, how it breaks through all constraints, how you can just move into alignment with people to get stuff done because they're friendly. Basically, they're an invitation to you. Move away from those who are not an invitation to you. You are not meant to be in all places at all times. If you need to learn to be a wolf, breathe in wolf energy, wolf spirit, wildness, maverick. If you need to solidify, breathe in a mountain. Like that. And we can learn from all these different forms, and everything and everybody gets theirs, which is the new bit, which I'm very excited by, because we have not been in a world where everybody gets theirs. Thank you, Dana. I'm really glad you've enjoyed. Isabel, lovely. Sunny with cool breeze weather. Soothing, calming. And you know what's so amazing is like I can experience all of these weather systems as really fabulous. You know, it's sort of like, wow, oh, you're a storm. How hot is that? You know, oh, you're a calming breeze. They're all so lovely, all of them. We need all of them. You know, you're all important. So if anybody would like to say anything at this point, please do, because we're really on the end of this. And what I would say, it's like a portal as well. You know, we've had the winter solstice, which was the stepping into the Aquarian age. We've got the full moon. And this time is all about creation. So create, like really send out your visions, your wishes for the healing of the planet. Create the world that you want to inhabit. And don't engage with lower frequency thoughts. You know, I've told you this before. This great shamana who I work with, Janita, says, in all your meditations, meditate and create the life that you want to live and the life that we have. Do not ever go into the story like, you know, why would you meditate on the vaccine? You know what I mean? Why would you meditate on Donald Trump? You would meditate on what's the life that you want to create. I do it with wild animals, you know, breeding and, you know, inhabiting the world, and the world is beautiful and there's beautiful rivers and it's clean and all of that. You know, these stories we get caught up with, like politics and all the recent things that we're going to be talked about. You know, once COVID is done, there will be another thing, and it will just be the next topic. And really, it's like, do your best. We really have seen it in England for the last 4 years, because it has literally been 2 years non-stop talk about Brexit. Then you thought it would never end. Oh, then it was COVID. So we've had 1 whole year of COVID, then a bit of Brexit as Brexit, and that's it. You don't get anything else. And it's designed to bring you down. It's designed to make you feel powerless. So really, it's like, go back to, what do you want to see on the planet? You know, I want to see clean rivers and indigenous leadership and lots of things. You know, go back to that. Pleasure, Laura. Lovely to see you. Laura in RI. What is RI? I'm trying to think. Can't think what that is. In the USA. Rhode Island. Rhode Island. Got it. Nice to see you all the way over there. Anyone else at all want to say anything? This is it. Feel that you are heard. Deep love. I'll see you guys on the other side. I'll probably do the occasional something, I don't know what, but not the moons right now. Many blessings. Happy New Year. May it be a happy, happy New Year. Keep the vibrations high. And much love. See you later.